Good morning, students. Today we are going to study about the culture. Now, the new chapters I am going to start today is a socialization, culture and socialization. The now human being learns everything in the society. One thing. And first of all, before the throwing the light upon the relations between the human being and the culture, we shall see culture a unique to the human beings. It is the unique quality of the human beings, the position which the human beings having. Now, moreover, it is one of the now distinguishing now traits of the human society. Now, uh, this culture makes the difference between the animal and the human beings, between the human beings and the sub-human beings. This is the culture. Now, one thing is that this kind of the culture, this kind of the traits or the features is not possessed possessed by the anyone, any animals, any kinds of the living beings in this world on this earth. So that's culture now makes the difference between the human beings and the other beings. Now we born we born as a plain paper, but we learns a lots of things, a lots of traits from the society. Now, or we learn everything from our family. We learn a lots of things from our social relations, from our social relations, and lots of things we are brought up in a certain environment, and now during the process of the growing up, say, we now just we grasp a lots of things and the behavior from the our environment. And moreover, other animals live in natural environment. Every man is born into the society, and is a and a society is the same as the saying that every man is born into the culture. Now, every man, society means that we have born in the culture. A certain cultures we after the birth we now just we now get a certain kind of the environment, a culture, certain kind of the culture, that culture is spared by the our society. Now the most moreover, that is why the some has Aristotle, the great thinkers, had made the remark that man is a social being. Now, man is a social animal, but moreover, it will not be the exaggeration. It will be the not beyond of his saying that man is a cultural being. Man is a cultural being. That will be the similarly true a lot as though Aristotle had made his remark upon that. The dictum of the this dictum of the Aristotle is no doubt it is the correct in that sense. Now, without the society, a man can't learn the anything. Understand? Or living in the isolation. Man is a social animal. It means that man is a cultural animal. We can say that without in having or the living apart from the society, the man will not be made as a man. The man will be what? The man will be just a subhuman. It means that wherever he will be the just like an animal, there will be the no difference between the man and an animal. So that is why society is the great things that culture now is the unique quality of the man which separates our now culture is that quality which we human beings possess that differs us Moreover, culture is broad terms, includes itself all the walk of lives, everything which comes under our walk of our life, that comes under the culture. Culture, it's had the very broad sense. It is the used in the much broad sense, and that this culture includes the your modes of behavior, our philosophies, ethics, our morals, our manners, our customs, and the traditions, our religions, politics, economic, and the other types of the activities. Means I one thing, every walk of the life, every aspects of the our life comes under the culture, under the culture, understand. And this culture we learns from where? We learn from the society. We grasp from the society. We observe, right? The little child, right from his just infancy, he that child starts learning everything from the environment. And moreover, culture includes all the man has acquired the individual and social life. Everyone, and in the words of MacIver and the page, culture is the realm of the style of values and the or of emotional attachments, of intellectuals adventures. Culture is more. Moreover, what a culture is not, now there is a notion prevalent in the society. There are norms. Generally and commonly, the term culture is given to wide variety of meanings to and its interpretations. This culture terms is the interpreted differently by the different people. And now one thing is that some of them are purely non-sociological, if not completely wrong. Now we say that people often speak the culture as synonyms with the education. Some say that the educated person is the cultured person. It means not the uneducated person is uncultured. An educated person may be having the well behavior and the well behavior and the well mannered, and now he will be the confined. This is the, if you say that an educated man is the very much cultured, he is the cultured, it is right, but it's not mean that the person who had not got the education is uncultured. No, cultured here the an educated person culture now denotes that the person is educated, the person knows the manners, well manners, and he now something, the personal now refinements, that person may be the personally refined, that person may be the personally refined. And moreover, and possesses of its indications, possesses its indication how to conduct himself in the life, how to conduct himself in the life, and how to conduct himself with others. And moreover, and in any situation, the educated person can now adjust himself, now can behave accordingly, understand. Or now it does not mean that and does not mean that the uncultured man is the not a just uneducated man is not a cultured. It does not mean well educated man can have the good dealings and the good understanding of the environment and the good of the good understanding, good behavior, all things will be there. But the uneducated person should also must have the in the different way he will express his own culture. Understand? So here is the education means the refinement. Refinement, a personal and individual's refinement. It is not as a whole a culture. To be the educated is not a whole as a person is possessing the culture. The second thing is that historically, now in the history, We use the term the culture and the higher achievements of the history. We study that. And this includes the art, religion, dance, drama, architecture, music, all things. And this is the supposed to be the great achievements and the higher achievements in the history and the cultural history under the culture we study. And now, apart from that, in the history we don't include the as a culture the political science the sociology the psychology political science sociology economics we don't include this we don't include at all this not we don't include it at all so then what is this is the culture now defined and the views by the historian is a not the this is the not a the right answer of the culture. Culture now it's a very broad sense in which the history of the military is left, history of the political science is left, history of the economic is left. So now we see that it means that the culture history from the viewpoint of the history culture only includes a a certain culture only includes a particular cultural history religion but in fact culture includes the history culture includes the history includes political science economics psychology all subjects come I have to say that all entire subjects come into the culture entire subjects now we have moreover Moreover, we have to see that the culture is the synonyms of the broader study. Moreover, one of the definitions we can have the culture, the tellers. One of the sociologists who have made the definition of culture is that complex whole. Culture is what? Complex whole. It means that it is the just a it is the bundle of knowledge, stacks of knowledge, and the mixing of the stacks of knowledge. Culture now here indicates that a building in the stacks of knowledge. It means that the culture includes the knowledge, belief, art, moral, law, custom, and the other capabilities are the habits acquired by the man as a member of the society. As a member of the society, everything human beings now grasps. Everything. So now culture is what? The culture is complex or whole. It means that it is the now accumulations of all knowledge. Culture is that. And moreover, culture is learned. One thing is that the culture is the learned. We culture is not inherited biologically. One thing is we must know that by birth culture is not given and spared us by the God. No, culture is does not come from the biology come from the lives. Understand? As we born, then the culture does not come with that. The culture only comes and culture only exists in society. And from the society, we grasp the culture. And moreover, we learn a way of behavior. The now there is no culture. There is no culture here. Our instinct, such as culture, is often called learned ways of behavior. Learned ways of behavior, ways of the behavior, we can say, or ultimately behavior such as closing of the eyes. Some of the behavior are the involuntary behavior, sleeping, winking the eyes, heart beatings, These are what? These are the just involuntary behavior. That is the biological. But the certain things and the certain behavior like the namaskar we do namaskar. Then after by the shaking the hands, shaking the hands, telling the goodbye. These all comes under the culture. These things are the a culture we learn from. Thanks, saving, racing, shaking hands, and similar wearing clothes, combing hair, dress sense. This all comes from the culture. These are the culture is a social. Now we know that we can't learn the culture in isolation. In isolation. Okay, so culture is always the social phenomenon. A man learns the culture in the society. It's originate in the society. Culture originates in the society and develop through the social interaction. Or this culture originates in society and develops with our social interaction. We all interact together, and moreover, man acquire culture without association with human beings. Man now here no man can acquire the culture without the association of human beings. Without association. And with the man becomes man only among the man. Human beings becomes a man only among the man. And moreover, only among the man, and no man becomes man only among the man, and the cultures which helps a man to develop human qualities or whatever we have the human qualities, understand, so that qualities or the human qualities develop in the societies, all the qualities apart from our life, understand, or our body which comes as after the which comes after the birth, which is existed after birth. So that, but apart from that, all qualities, your education, behavior, your culture, modes, dance, everything which now we that comes from the society. Society is the best lab. This is the best cradle in which the cultures now culture and the human beings learns the culture. From cradle to death, we learn the culture in the society. We learn. The society now originates and offers cultures, the complex whole. It means that entire things society provides us, and culture helps to develop all the qualities. Environment now deprivations of the company of association of the other individuals to the individual is nothing but deprivations of the human qualities. If someone isolates himself from the society, anyone. So then what happens? It means that the person is depriving himself from the all the learnings. All the learnings. Without the in the having in the isolation, you can't be the moreover cultured share. One thing is that the culture is not meant for possessing himself. No. Culture is meant for sharing. It is the shared culture, always shared. It not the culture they you are the cultured. You are, how can one know that you are the culture and you are the uncultured? Someone is the uncultured by your sharing. So this is the meant for something that is, it is not something that is at the individual alone can possess. Or this is not something that individual alone can possess. Culture, someone can't keep himself. No, कोई व्यक्ति anybody can't keep himself. And moreover, for example, लीजिए custom. traditions, beliefs, values, morals, all are shared by the people of the group or the societies. All things, moral है, values है, custom है, everything, everything is the shared by the all people who are living in the society, who are the living. And for example, invention of Aryabhatta and the Einstein, Charak, Charak and Charles Darwin, the literary works of the Kalidas, and Keats, Dante, Dante and Dundee, philosophers, philosophers like the Confucius, Lao Tse, Lao Tse, and the Shankaracharya, Swami Vivekananda, all the now artistics, arts in the field of the art, like the Ravi Verma or Raphael now are the shared by large number of the groups. They have now given the society or the now they have made a remarkable contributions in the society. Now their knowledge, their vast knowledge is shared. It is not confined. It is shared broadly by the all over the world. So culture could not be, culture is shared, culture is not possessed by any individual. So now here we can see that moreover culture is transmissive, means culture is passed from one generation to other generation. It is the now from comes culture comes down from the generations to the coming from the top generations, from the ancestors to the and from the fathers to the coming fourth generations. That this is the transmitted, and the one parents pass on culture traits and the habits to their children. Parents now having a lots of cultural traits, they have the features, and these all the traits and the features are passed on and their children passed on. Moreover, and their children's culture is transmitted through the gene, not through the gene. Culture, one thing, culture is not passed through the gene. Understand? This is the passed through the language. So language is the what? Language is the vehicle. Language is the track on which the now on which the trends of the cultures runs. Understand? Language is the most effective culture we can say, and most effective qualities the God has spared the human beings. Language now human being have devised, it is the very unique blessings to the human beings, by which we communicate, we understand, we pass on our feelings, our pains, our happiness, pains, all the things, and even the culture we pass through the language. So the language plays a very important role in the culture. Language, the different forms like the reading, writing, and the speaking. This is the language is expressed by the writing, by the listening, and moreover makes the possible the present generation to understand the achievements of the past generation. Past generations understand the achievements of the present generations, understands the achievements of the past generation. So now the language plays the very important role in that, and the language itself a part of the culture. We know that language is no doubt it is also the part of our culture, and now once language is acquired, it unfolds the individuals. It's a wide field. Once the language is learned, then now we now we become the capable of expressing our feelings and thoughts, and even our we are capable of passing our cultures. Moreover, The culture is the continuous and cumulative. Culture is never static. It is the ever changing. Now, for example, growing as a whole, now is and this is the social heritage, and it is the growing. Culture is always growing. Now we see that in the Vedic period. Go back to the Vedic period, and we study in the entire culture, art, political system, military system, art, dance, music, religion. These were the quite different. We study those features, although a certain for extent those features can be just can be understood, can be realized and experienced today, but those cultures, but Vedic culture was quite different. Today, today we say in the medieval period, the culture was quite different. But in the modern period, our culture is entirely the different, and it is the cumulative and the become culture growing whole include achievements of the past and present, and the stream flowing down through the century from generation to generation. Culture is now streaming and the flowing down from generation to generation. Those things are coming. Even the Vedic period things are still many of the features are still we are culture completely just does not delete it is a partially it contains its features and pass on generation to generations and in a changing form. What the we had the culture dressing sense and race comes under the is included in the culture, but in ancient time our dress was quite different. Those days is still used, but in after the advent of the British, our culture now became much influenced by the modernity. So we have to see that this culture is a cumulative. This culture is the now ever changing or ever continuous, and now and these cultures are carried in the memory of human races. Culture is just kept in mind and carried ahead, and now culture is a consistent and integral. Culture develops the has revealed tendencies to consistency tendency of the consistency. Further, after the same time, different parts of the culture are now interconnected. Different parts of the world culture is interconnected. As example, the value system of the society is closely connected. Value system and with its other aspects of such as the value system of the life is very closely like the for example morality, religion, custom, tradition, beliefs, and so on. And culture is dynamic and adaptive. Culture is the dynamic and adaptive. We can see, though the culture is relatively stable, it is not together static. Culture is though culture is relatively stable, it is not a together static. Culture is always changing. Culture is always advancing, and it is the subject to slow but a constant change and growth of the latent in the culture. More we find among growth in the present Indians culture, where we compare it with the culture of the Vedic times and the culture in the other period. So the culture, we see that this is the dynamic and integrated also. Moreover, culture is gratifying. Culture varies from society to society. We say that a culture, it is the quite clear. We live in society. We meet every day the people now belonging to the different social groups and different society. The now in the respect of dress, in the respect of language, in respect of the political system, In respect of the social and the moral values, the people are, we find the people different in the society. Different people, different morals values, the different race sensing, the different languages, the different way of the life, different food habits. Now we find and the varies from the society to society. And philosophy, cultural elements such as custom, traditions, morals, values, ideologies, beliefs, practices, philosophy, institutions are not uniform everywhere. It is quite clear. As I said you, that the values, the morals, the governments, the way of living, the food habits, games, sports, everything differs. Society to society, wherever we go. And moreover, culture varies from time to time. Next, here, culture, we see that the culture is an organized group of learned responses, characteristics of the particular society. So in this way, we see that the culture, how the culture is a different, okay, and unique to man. It is the quite unique to man, human beings, and these traits are not superior to the other subhumans. The students today, I suppose that what is the culture, you would have understand. The next day we shall start this chapter. Understand the culture and socialization. The how the a child, a person, an individual is prepared, and an individual through the process they learns the culture, and what factors helps him to be called as a cultured man. Thank you very much. Next we shall see and meet in the other class.